integrated learning. Before we come to this, what is integration? I'm sitting amongst teachers here, all educators. So what is integration? Teachers?
Basically bringing two systems together.
Two systems together. And integration is a very in thing these days. Even yesterday we heard from many people, from people who came from Singapore also, they were saying about integration. So they're talking about integrating two subjects, two streams, okay? Now we're talking about integrating Islam into our daily life, into every learning that we do. That is what Islamic integration learning is. Okay? Now how is it possible? If you can't see that, I'll read it out. आप लोगों को ये बोलना है, when I read these words, what comes to your mind? Okay? Animals, metamorphosis, solar system, water cycle, skeleton, mountain, plants, moon. What comes to your mind? Sorry?
Nature.
Nature, okay. Anything else? Any teacher here? Full-time teacher?
Creation.
Creation, okay. If I say solid, liquid and gas is also a topic here, what would come to your mind?
Science as a subject.
Science as a subject, right? So these are usually seen in our science textbooks as chapters, aren't they? Now the most interesting part, if you really look close into it, science is nothing but science of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? And what are we teaching our children? We're teaching the science of Allah, but we call it as science, as a subject. Now, why do we have to integrate? What do we have to integrate? We have to integrate Islam, the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, into our studies. Now, why do we integrate? If we could switch off the slide so that they could see the picture better. Right, these are all pieces of art. Now, when we show this, especially for ladies, when we see a beautiful henna design, the first question is, who did this for you? When we see something very beautifully sculpted, we ask, who has done this? But when it comes to the creation, we're keeping creation, we talk about everything. When was it constructed? Who constructed it? How long did it take? How much did it cost? But when it comes to the creator, we don't mention him. And this is happening at schools. Schools that can incorporate Islam. Not every school can, but schools that can incorporate Islam, they're keeping the creator out of it. So what do? We have a science period, we have an English period, we have an Islamic studies period, and then we have Quran period or something. So they're all tied in boxes. And then the new thing is integrated learning. So how are we doing justice to it? Oh, what to integrate? Agar mere paas, if I'm teaching English, and if somebody says that you have to have an integrated class, an Islamic integrated class, can I integrate Islam into English period? The answer is yes. Can I do that into science? Of course, yes. Math, yes. Geography, social studies, history, art, even in physical education. When we do games, we talk, why are games so important for students? Because Allah wants a Muslim to be fit. And our Prophet Huzur used to be a very, very active person. And these were his favorite sports. Okay? And we play because we want to stay fit, we want to have a team building spirit. It's not to make somebody lose. So all these values come into integrated physical education. So there's no period, there's no subject which cannot be integrated. But the only requirement is, are we willing to do it? The question can be, who's implementing it? Well, it's a very foreign practice, or it's a very uncommon practice. If you look across the globe, there are countries like Nigeria, Kenya, they're implementing it. It happens in US, it happens in India, it happens in UK. It happens everywhere. So why not the places where we have the majority or we have the right to do it? Who can implement? Okay, let's say that you are a mother. Can you implement that? When you do studies for your children, you're talking about water cycle. Water cycle has come as a project. Now the onus is on you to explain your child that who's the creator of the water cycle, who has designed the water cycle first, who makes the water rise, on whose command does the water rise, turns into vapor, condenses into cloud, and then Allah makes the cloud move to the place where He wants it to drop the rain. Now, if we do not do this to our children, and we want better generation, more humble people, more value-based children, where will they come from? Because we are teaching them in boxes. So the integrated curriculum can be done by anybody. Homeschooling, tuitions, schools, online, it can happen anywhere. The condition is you have to think it's important. It doesn't. I'll show you a small lesson plan in a few minutes. When we were working in England, or people working across the globe, we keep the national curriculum as it is, and then we bring in the respective Islamic point that matches with it. And we do not disturb the national curriculum. So, and the question is, does it overburden the children? It doesn't. If I'm talking about moon, and I do the objectives that are given in the textbook, and I say, do you know what is moon called in Quran? Okay. And then I say that, do you know the story where Prophet ﷺ split the moon into two? And then I can also say that Allah has created moon as a lamp for us. So where will the mention of Allah's creation disturb my curriculum? It doesn't, and it doesn't overburden the child, but it makes it more relatable. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He has created man and jinn only for one purpose, to worship Him. But if we talk about Allah's creation and do not mention Allah, are we doing His ibadah at that time? So let's turn the learning into ibadah, make it more meaningful. We talk about critical thinking. How do we make our children think critically if we don't let him think about the Creator? We ask the children to learn holistically. Okay? But the major part is left behind. In this manner, my firm belief is our children will not be learning holistically. And the responsibility is on us. How do we design the curriculum and how do we deliver it? Maulana said this yesterday, and I like it. We do this. Every day we teach the children work of God. We teach about volcanoes, we teach about waterfalls, we teach about drought, we teach about floods, but we don't mention the word God. So when the child does something very good, the humility will come only when he is connected with the Creator. That Allah is the one who does the best, and I'm only doing part of what Allah has allowed me to do. So unless we connect the creation, the teachers have to become a link between the child and the Creator. And my belief is, I'll be held accountable if I enter a classroom and I do not introduce the child to the Creator, but I introduce only the child to the author of the textbook. So that's a very scary thought to me. So I urge all of you, as I said, sir, it's not a paper presentation, but it's a belief and it's a practice that I follow, that make your teaching meaningful, turn it into ibadah, let your students find the learning meaningful, inshallah. And we keep talking about Sadqa Jariyah. Sadqa Jariyah should be of something that pleases Allah, that will make place for us in the Akhirah. And yes, we do the niyyah that Allah, I'm doing this for you, but we should also make it meaningful by connecting Allah in it. We all get happy when we see this. Okay, we do it as a project and we love to read upon who invented what in the Muslim world. But sadly, now the golden era was when learning was one thing. Learning meant learning about the education that Allah has given to humans. It wasn't about a human-made education and then Islamic education. It was all in one big circle. We have split it. And now we are happy with these things. Yeah. And then that goat is sold for so many crores, and the fish is sold for so many and has security and all that. So for us to be meaningful educators, for Islam to enter into us, and then to be conscious Muslims, we talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is when the child is having his lunch and he knows it has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we talk about protein and all that, he can relate to something immediately. The foundation has to be set where a Muslim is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will go on. Whatever he does after that, he will remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his learning. Truly, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So it has to start from you, where you start connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that you do, maybe you're not students as formal students, but you do plan the education of somebody else. So you will have to look at the education from a different angle to change the situation. Inshallah, okay? So that's all in a very quick nutshell I had to say. Oh, by the way, this is the lesson plan that I was talking about. This is a class 4 topic, soil. When I was preparing the lesson plan for this, I was amazed at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. Soil that we think nothing, dust, grit. But soil, I mean, when I was doing the lesson plan, I was going through the science textbook. The beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation even grew more. So the objectives, which hasn't come in this, in this picture, stays as the lesson objectives every science class has, but we integrate what a child has to learn about soil. Okay, it's just a small turn where you ask the child, who created soil? Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created soil. Why did he create soil? So the critical thinking starts from here. It starts from who, and then why. Allah created it for us. So should we not be thankful? So you see, the whole mindset of the child changes when we bring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in it. Okay? Jazakallah khair for listening to me, for giving me this time. Sorry, it was not a paper presentation, but it was an experience that I wanted to share. Okay? Jazakallah khair.
MashaAllah.